everyone. My name is Richard Evans, and normally you would see me on New Tech TV, but today I'm here to help launch an exciting new platform from the VizRT group that we call NDI TV. Now, this platform is where we will be sharing the latest and greatest information about NDI. Everything from stories about how NDI users are harnessing the power of this technology to create content and distribute their shows, to stories about how developers are using NDI to create amazing new products to expand production capabilities. Now, if this is your first time hearing about NDI, you are in for a treat. To better explain how this works, let me take you back to a traditional video workflow, which consists of using tons of cables to move one video signal in one direction to connect one piece of equipment to another. In order to share video sources in a traditional video workflow, you would need to use video routers, distribution amplifiers, and a bunch of other expensive equipment simply to share these sources, which would look a little like this. Now, what NDI allows for you to do is, as soon as you connect a camera or other video source into an NDI-enabled device, it allows you to share that source across your network using your existing gigabit network infrastructure with ease, essentially interconnecting all of your devices via the power of NDI. Now, to help introduce you to this groundbreaking technology is VizRT's own Chris Black. Chris, welcome.
Hey, Richard, great to see you.
Right on. So I'm broadcasting from San Antonio. Where are you broadcasting from?
I'm broadcasting from the VizRTV studio here in Bergen, Norway. In fact, we're communicating right now on Microsoft Teams using NDI. So NDI is, of course, the backbone for VizRTV, just like it is for New Tech TV. But, you know, the thing is about NDI is it's not just for broadcasters. The ability to transport video easily and intuitive over IP is what makes NDI really unique. And companies interact with NDI in different ways, whether they're doing things like quick broadcast, like what we're doing right now, or they're AVI, enterprise, medical, with audio, video, and data together or apart. They all need to be able to transport this content in an easy way. And right now, almost 1 billion users are using NDI, whether they know it or not, through things like NDI tools, but also through systems like OBS, TriCaster, Skype, and now also Microsoft Teams. And let's not forget about those cool tools for our phones, where we can share our video and our screens. But for manufacturers to embrace NDI is to embrace that thriving ecosystem of users, and also gives those users meaningful tools to expand their ability to share stories.
Agreed. And with the most recent update to Microsoft Teams, they've now built in NDI so that you can start to send video and audio without any extra hardware or software, which is, again, how we're doing our show right now.
Exactly. In fact, just last week, I had the opportunity to talk to Aaron Linney, who is the Senior Product Manager of Microsoft Teams. He told me more about how the integration works and also why Microsoft is embracing NDI. Let's take a look at that.
Hi, Aaron. Thanks for joining me for NDI TV.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, Aaron, you and NDI have some history. Before we talk about Teams, can you tell us about how you first became aware of NDI?
Sure. So my background is actually I used to own a software and media production company. And then I was brought into Microsoft in order to help Skype with what they were calling the Skype Content Creators Initiative. And as a part of that, we wanted the ability to be able to take the content out of Skype and enable streamers and production houses to bring remote guests into their own production. And when we were looking for the right solution, it became very clear very quickly that NDI was the way to go. So we introduced NDI into Skype back in 2018, and now we're bringing it into Teams.
Yeah, so we had that collaboration with NDI into Skype. What is your vision for having this in Teams?
With Skype is more of a consumer product, right? And so you had a lot of people using it for streaming or their small-scale productions. But Teams is a full-on enterprise, completely secure communications product. And so what we've found is that as people use Teams and grow accustomed to Teams and appreciate the security of it, more and more things are happening where people are using Teams for their video production. We have an entire product in Teams that allows you to do a live production. But then there's other smaller things that people may want to do, such as a town hall or perhaps they have their own production tool, their own production workflow, and they want to bring a guest in, maybe to a sports show, or maybe into the news or something like that. Maybe this kind of interview right here. Right? So you already have teams, you already have a secure environment, you already have their communications method for your entire enterprise. Now, because of NDI, you can use that same exact suite of products for your production workflow.
Sure, and right now, most of my life is in Teams, for internal meetings, external meetings, doing interviews like this, like we just saw. And I'm sure it's kind of the same for you. What features are you introducing in Teams recently that people may not be aware of that are helping with collaboration and helping with live production?
Sure. Well, Teams is now NDI enabled, right? Everyone, if you go into your admin settings, you can turn on NDI for anyone in your org. You get the control of that if you want them to have it or not, right? But with that comes all of the features that you end up getting with Teams. The background blur, the background replacement, all that gets sent out over the NDI as well. And we have the Together mode. I'm not sure if you've gotten a chance to see it, but there's actually been some studies done that show that with all of us doing these telecommunications, right, these video conversations through our computers and all the little squares that end up showing up, there's a massive cognitive overload because in real life, humans don't see other humans just through squares. So we built the Together mode, which takes all of our people everyone that's got the camera on in a meeting and literally puts them in the same room, but puts them in the same view. We put them in seats and they're all next to each other and you can high five each other, right? That kind of stuff, that's available via the NDI out. Your local stream is available via NDI out. So if I only have one camera, if I only have one webcam and I'm in a meeting, I can send all of that video feed to the meeting and then send it right back out so that I can record it. You get your screen share. You get a feed called Active Speaker. So if you only want to just set up one thing, it automatically rotates to whoever's talking, and that video comes out on NDI. It's a full suite of product.
So, usage of Teams has got to be just exploding right now. How do you ensure the quality of service?
The quality of the service only continues to improve. It's one of those things where I don't think I can actually say how much we've grown. But with that growth comes all of the resources, right? And Microsoft is fully behind making sure that Teams is the premier experience. Every day, we are getting more and more resources to make it even better, to make it stronger. And unfortunately, I can't tell you the plans we have for next quarter, but wow, right? Like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of great stuff coming.
So, are there any kind of surprising use of Teams that you've come across?
I think the thing that has been one of the most impressive things as far as our technology, combining for all that we're working on in this production stuff, is what we've been able to partner with the NBA, right? So here you have this whole situation where you can't have fans in the arena, you can't have live fans cheering for you because of COVID, and because of Teams, because of the Together mode and NDI, we're able to actually bring fans directly into the game. They're there. That kind of support for athletics, you've got to have that cheering. You've got to have that excitement when you're out there on the court. All of that being powered by the production tools that we're adding to Teams. I'm just excited to be a part of what we're doing. Literally, culture is changing, right? Because of COVID, because of telecommunications, because of Teams, people are able to stay connected. People's businesses are getting to continue because they can talk to each other through these kinds of tools. And now, with the introduction of NDI, with the introduction of Together mode, with the introduction of the large gallery view, all these things that we're putting into Teams, now more and more workflow production possibilities are possible, and matching up these video segments, right? This right here, fully produced because of Teams and NDI.
That's right. Let's actually talk about that for a moment here because, I've got you running on Teams on a computer over there in my control room, and I've brought you in as NDI sources on my switcher. I'm using this vector here, for instance. So I'm able to bring you in as a full source. And not only you, but you're sending me multiple video feeds. So I have one feed of just you up full like this, and then I have another feed of you where you're going to show me a little bit about the stream in OBS there. And it's really great quality.
Thanks. Yeah, so this is my screen share. You're looking at my computer. You're looking at how I mix when I do productions, right? And I put all of my webcam stuff directly through the OBS. But what I can do here is I can come in and I can select NDI source, and I come in, click on NDI, and I'm going through here. And now I have a list here of the different things. So my computer is called Agamotto. You can see this is the local feed. So this would be my feed that I'm sending into Teams. This is the active speaker I talked about. And then this one right here, this is you. So now I can bring your feed directly into Teams. Completely clean, completely clear. This is the thing, right? So up until now, you would have to screen scrape. You would have to do some sort of HDMI out into some other piece of hardware or whatnot. But here, because of this, you get a clean feed exactly what you are sending me.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I mean, right there inside of OBS and also right here inside of our switcher, I've got you the same way as well. So very, very clean.
Thanks. And then, we do get the question about quality, right? Like, how good is the quality here? And I want to just state that the quality is all dependent upon your setup. When Teams receives the video signal, it's the exact signal that we are receiving in the client that we then send out over NDI. So the quality of that NDI signal is based upon the source, right? For me, I've got a really nice camera, so it looks decent, right? If you have a webcam that does 720p, that's the most you're going to get out of it, right? Then the source, the video goes up. What is their bandwidth? And then what is your bandwidth when it comes down, right? And so that's the quality that's determined. It can go all the way up to HD. It's just dependent upon what the client is actually receiving, and then that's what we shoot out over NDI.
Do you know, are there any other innovations that Microsoft is working with at the moment that you think are very interesting, that are allowing people to collaborate in such ways like this?
I can't talk about that. I mean, I love you, man, but just sit tight, yeah?
All right. I always, whenever I talk to anybody from Redmond, I try to get a little something extra out of them.
Yep. No, we've got, man, it's I think for us, one of the statements was that, we did 2 years or more of digital revolution in about 2 weeks or 2 months, and that's just only going to continue. The plans we have going forward are incredibly strong. And there's been 2020 has been an interesting year.
Indeed.
But one good thing that we can say about it, I think everyone can say about it, is technology has really been able to take off. And these kinds of distance communications has grown in such a way that that we can do life and we can do business even when we're not in the same room because of the power of things like Teams. And as Teams continues to grow, you'll see more and more enhancements coming, more and more features coming, and more possibilities for video production workflow.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, thank you very much for spending time with me today. It's been very enlightening.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Hello there. I'm your host, Renato, and I'm here to welcome you to the very first edition of Did You Know on NDI TV. So, did you know that you can connect NDI and Microsoft Teams together to be able to bring in team callers as sources into your live video productions? Well, you can, and it's really very easy. So let me show you how. Step 1. You can either launch your Microsoft Teams application directly, or depending on your network administrator settings, you might have to right-click, like I am doing here, and run the application as administrator. Then you need to enable that. So, step 2, go up to your profile in Teams, click on that, go to Settings, and then you'll have to go to Permissions. So the next important step is to make sure the Network Device Interface, or NDI, is enabled. So toggle that on. Once that's done, you can close Teams, and then you have to restart the application. Now, we've already set up a meeting, so I'll make sure I join that for my 2 callers. Okay, there are my 2 callers there, so I can minimize that. So now that's all set up, I can go to the NDI Studio monitor down here, which is part of the free NDI tools download. And there I can select here and bring those 2 callers in as sources. So we're going to go down to where I can see them selected here, which is in my case MI3, but it could be any source coming in. And here is Kath, so I select her. There she is, excellent. And again, MI3 and bring in Law. Perfect, so those sources are now selected. Step 4 in the vector. So now let's have a look at how to bring those sources into any live production system. In our case, it's VisVector. So I'll go up to here, select here, go to source, again down to MI3 and select Kath. There she is. And then over to Skype 2, down again to MI3, and I'll bring in Law. The final stage is to make sure that their audio is activated, so we go down to the audio mixer, I go to the wheel, click here, go up to source, again MI3, bring in Kath, and then over to Skype 2, click there, go down to MI3, and bring in Law. It's important to note that since I have 2 callers in Teams, I can add them as individual sources into my switcher. So there you go, NDI and Microsoft Teams working perfectly in unison together to help you with your live video production. Another great example of the power and the flexibility of NDI. I've been your host today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Did You Know on NDI TV.
So that about wraps it up for this premiere episode of NDI TV. Keep checking back with us to see the latest innovations in this technology that is uniting the world through video. Now we want you to experience the power of NDI for yourself, and it is absolutely free. Visit ndi.tv and click on NDI Tools at the top of the page. And inside you'll find a powerful collection of applications allowing you to send and receive NDI signals on both PC and Mac. And if you're a developer or manufacturer and are ready to add NDI support to your products, you can download the NDI SDK at ndi.tv as well. This royalty-free software developer kit offers access to the tools and resources to integrate native NDI support into your software and the NDI embedded development kit for your products like cameras, converters, monitors, and more. Now, I'd like to thank our guests for joining us today, and I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of NDI TV.